listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I'm ecstatic that you're listening. This episode of a One Pint Stand is proudly sponsored by Arbeiter Brewing Company, a multicultural-owned brewery and tap room in South Minneapolis, cultivating a welcoming and safe environment for our diverse community and craft beer enthusiasts. On this episode, I stopped by Luce Brewing in Plymouth, Minnesota to chat with my friends Brent, Danny, and Dane about their upcoming Hoptacular event, which will take place on Saturday, July 18th. It's a great event sponsored by Hollandberry & Sons Hops. We also chatted about the wild success of their Guac is Extra Mexican Lager, which is available in 12 packs out in liquor stores and 6 packs in the tap room. If you happen to be a pint hoister or a keg stander supporter of the Patreon, you get to hear some insightful chatter on the challenges that a small brewery faces when they decide to sell 12 packs out in the market. So let's head out to Luce Brewing Company in Plymouth, Minnesota for my beer chat with the Luce crew. Cheers. Welcome to another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. I'm your host, Dan Bobian, and today I'm out here at Luce Brewing in Plymouth, Minnesota, and I'm being joined by the brewers and the sales guy, the creepy sales guy in the sales van. Free beer, come on down. Do you ever think of putting windows on that thing, Brent?
No, we have all the good candy treats.
All the good candy treats, yep. So I'm here with Brent, Danny, and Dane, the folks that make this just delicious beer and sell this delicious beer. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. I know you're busy making beer because people like to drink your beer. That's the price you pay for being really good at what you do. People are thirsty, and it's Minnesota. It's summertime. Great time. Now, I'm drinking the Guac is Extra, the Mexican lager. This is really good. It's got for my taste, it has the perfect amount of lime in there. What do you all have in your glasses?
I have our Animal Style XPA beer we brewed for our Burger Brawl a couple weeks ago. Nice, light, super hoppy.
I'm also drinking the Guac is Extra.
And I have Sacred Geometry.
Oh, nice. Hazy. Murky. Like my dream journal. So I know I did a podcast here about a year and a half ago. It was in the fall. I remember it was like the second day of school. And the first day of school as a teacher, you don't sleep very well, but you're running on adrenaline. The second day of school is when you're really dragging. So I was happy to look forward to a beer after work and kind of getting to know you all. But if you would, before we get into our conversation, just go ahead and introduce yourselves again to the listeners. If you would say what your role is here at the brewery, what your favorite summer crusher is, and what your favorite style of taco to eat to go with this Guac is Extra.
Ooh, that's a good question. I am Dane. I am the brewer here at Luce My summer crusher. I'm not above a good macro lager. Honestly, a good Busch Light is just fine by me. I've been drinking a lot of the Mini Matsui from Back Channel. Really like that crisp, clean Japanese rice lager. Super good beer.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one?
Then what is your favorite style of taco to go with the Guac is Extra Mexican lager?
Extra.
Available in 12 packs and on tap.
I'm just going with my favorite taco is the birria tacos.
So good.
So good.
What a revelation. Those are just insanely good. I think I discovered those like 4 years ago. I was late to the party. They're just amazing.
They're not too hard to make either.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to need a side of beef on the way home. Get those going for the weekend.
I'm later to the party than you are. been like 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
That was going to be my answer.
Oh, really?
Sweet. I'm Danny. I'm the head brewer, but again, Dane does most of the work around here. So he brews a good chunk of everything. My favorite summer crusher was Schlitz, but now it's probably just High Life, RIP.
Yeah.
Favorite taco, I'm a big shrimp taco fan, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
My name is Brent. I'm head of sales and distribution. My favorite summer crusher, it's going to sound like copying, but I get down with a lot of Busch Light in the summer, especially, it's a situational beer. I'm drinking a bunch. It's got to be something I can drink a bunch of.
Right.
But guac is awesome. That beer it's been doing really well in the market so far, 12 packs, and pairs perfect with some birria tacos.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of shrimp tacos, fish tacos. So I didn't really like fish tacos until I went to San Diego a couple summers ago and had really good ones everywhere. I'm like, well, I just need to figure out how to make these at home. Ever since then, I haven't looked back. But birria tacos, now I would assume they'd be really difficult to make.
It's just more intimidating than anything. You just got to get the consomme right, and it's really not that bad.
Yeah. Do you make them at home?
I've made them a handful of times, yeah. It's not too bad.
We'll have to talk consomme in the
I'll
Patreon
get you my
segment.
recipe, don't worry.
Hey, we're talking broth here at a One Pint Stand. Buckle up, folks. Get your tortillas and meat. So I think the guac is extra is probably a good place to start. Now, before we get into all that, but I want to talk first and foremost. I think that Luce Line is doing some great things when it comes to making beer. You've been doing a lot of collaborations lately, and I'm a sucker for when the summer seasonals come out because it just is a kind of a state of mind. You know, I love to drink seasonally. You know, when we were here the first time, it was right before Oktoberfest was kicking off, and you all do a great Oktoberfest. But when it comes to summertime, something that is really just crisp and refreshing, whether you're on a boat. Brent, I know you do a lot of golfing. Nothing like a beer after a bike ride. You're right by a great bike trail, the Luce Line Trail. You've got this Mexican lager that is available in 6-packs and 12-packs, or is it just 6-packs? Or just 12-packs?
6-packs out of the tap room.
Okay.
Because we can't legally sell 12-packs.
Right.
Minnesota liquor laws.
Well.
But yes, it is going very well in 12-packs at your favorite liquor store.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it, you can ask for it.
Yeah, ask for it. I would imagine there's not many craft breweries that sell a beer in a 12-pack format. I'm a person that thinks, like, I like to buy in large quantities, especially if I'm going to drink something fairly regularly. A 6-pack just isn't enough. 12-pack is kind of perfect. What was some of I'm assuming this is the first beer you've ever put in a 12-pack?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. First 12-pack.
How did that come to be?
It was kind of, I guess, my idea, brainchild. More packaging work for these two. But just felt like a right time to test the market and see if it's something that was sustainable and something that we could actually produce enough of and put it in the market and be successful. And so far, it's gone really well. These guys just packaged how many cases today?
179.
I was going to round up to 180. Sounds better for Brent.
Nice.
But this is the third batch that they've brewed and packaged and have put into 12 packs. So if that doesn't say something in and of itself, I don't know what does.
I think that's great. Yeah, it's very refreshing. It's a very easy drinking. From a packaging standpoint, you know, if you're used to doing you do a lot of 4-packs. I know that. 6-packs in the tap room. You know, you do bottled, of some of the bigger specialty beers that come out in the darker, cooler months. What are some of the challenges when it's like, okay, now we've got this thing that we have to put into 12 packs.
It's not that bad. Luckily, our canning line can go between 16 ounce and 12 ounce, which is really awesome. Like, we literally did that today, which is great. Super easy. We can just switch over in like 5-10 minutes. I guess, yeah, it's just more of a logistical thing with, hey, we have, all these loose cans, and now we need to get them into a 12-pack. And obviously, we're not a massive brewery, so we don't have equipment to physically do that or to manually do that. So we have to manually do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just one of those kind of things. It's just, it takes a little extra time, but that's it's kind of the point as well. Like, that's just craft beer in general. Like,
yeah.
It takes time, and it takes how long it takes, and you do what you need to do.
I was at a brewery in Illinois, Noon Whistle, and they're pretty large. But I was, I guess, kind of ignorant when we went back and we're doing the tour, and there's just a bunch of people putting, packaging the stuff. I just assumed, okay, so I see cans everywhere. There's got to be a robot that is doing that. But it's like, yeah, that is craft beer. I think a lot of people, like myself, wrongly assume that a brewery of a certain size probably just has a machine for that. But you're talking like you have the luxury of moving between 16 ounce and 12 ounce cans. I don't think that's the norm at every place. Or if it is, there's some recalibration that needs to happen. I don't know. I talked to a lot of brewers, and there's a lot of finicky canning lines out there that I would imagine create at least 75% of all your stress.
Yeah, we ours isn't too bad to change over again. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes if we're really cruising. But I think for us, we like to put on the portray that we are bigger than we are. So when we do it, we will fill up 180 cases worth of just 12-ounce cans, no pack text, put them on a pallet, and then over the course of the next few days, over a couple hour, 2-hour shifts, just manually do it. But yeah, some people do, and I think some people might think switching over from 12 to 16 and vice versa is a little bit more difficult than it is. But and we thought that it might be the first time we did it as well, but turns out we're just unscrewing a couple things, and it's really easy. And again, having the multiple package sizes, I think, really helps on liquor store shelves, and again, probably makes us look a little bit bigger than we are.
Yeah. Well, I think, there's not too many other craft breweries that do a 12-pack. I know that Modest does a couple things in 12-packs, but like the other ones I see, it's like, Summit, Surly, Shells, the big ones. So I think that's a neat way to kind of stand out when everybody else is doing one thing. And it's also like people, especially now, appreciate a good value, so like 12 packs, tend to run a little bit cheaper when you do the pricing than, a 6-pack. So that's pretty good. And it's the perfect style, 12, throw a couple 12 packs in the car, go hang out with some friends around a campfire. That's perfect. Have there been discussions about potentially doing any other beers in 12 packs?
Yes. But that's about as far as we've gotten.
Okay.
I think we're still so new to this, and for us, I think it was like early May the first time we brewed it. Brewed guac is extra and put it in 12 packs. So like for us, we've packaged 3 30-barrel batches. We've already brewed 4, brewing another one Thursday. So for us, it still feels like we've already done a ton of this. Like, it's over, but it's not even, it's still mid-June or the end of June at least.
Summer
So
just started.
we have no idea how much we actually need to do of this yet. So we don't have a hard stop date on Guac is Extra yet. I think this first year is us just kind of feeling how the market works. And if like we get into football season and people are still buying guac, we'll still make it. But at some point, whether it's in 2 months or 6 months or 12 months, there will be some other 12-pack flavors for sure.
Okay. Well, that's exciting to hear. Yeah. How do you time that out? I imagine it's like, where do you get that data? Like,
I think you just guess, honestly.
It's just
like,
guess.
all right.
Just trending which direction.
Yeah, we follow the numbers, and we're gonna hope that batch we do in September, people still want lime and salt lager.
Otherwise, us three are going to be drinking
Yeah.
some three
Yeah, I
month old.
suppose.
Come here and
Mexican lagers.
get twofers for Christmas break when we still have it on tap.
Or we have a very warm fall and people are still wanting
Still patio season.
that type of beer.
it is. Isn't it going to be an El Nino year? So that does mean it's going to be really hot, right?
I think that all goes back to we're still like the 12 pack might make people think we're bigger, but really we're just winging it, looking at the numbers, and if it slows down, we'll stop and we'll bring it back next year.
It's a lot of conversations with our top accounts that, I mean, they've been doing this for a long time and
Sure.
kind of just picking their brains on, I think the hardest part for us has been, can we make this quality of beer in a 12-ounce format, in a 12-pack, but still have a reasonable price point that
Sure.
people are going to buy it, because they are going to be sitting on the shelf next to, like you said, Summit, Surly,
Right.
all those bigger guys. And if the price point is not approachable or close to them, then we might be sitting on a whole bunch of beer that just isn't going to move because they can get that value buy from somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a tough game to play, and like these guys make awesome beer, and we don't want to adjust a recipe to make it less expensive,
Yeah.
just so that it is.
I always think that that's a mistake, and it's, people still pay if something is a good product, people will pay the price because they want to. When you're buying a craft product, more of your dollars are going to the place, as opposed to when you're going to a chain or something like that.
For sure.
So always support. That's the ethos of craft, and a big part of it is. So I think that's doable. But yeah, that's when I was talking to Kyle Marty at Shells, they get stuck in that same trap because people, it's a very recognizable brand, but they're doing just as much competition with the other craft brands as they are with the big ones. And so they get put in the coolers by like the Coors Light and all that stuff. And it's like, well, you can't compete with that pricing. But you also, like you said, you're a craft product. You putting a lot into it. You can't undercut that.
No, and we still have to make our money, or it doesn't make any sense. Like, we've had so many conversations about what could be next, and that was never a thing when these guys were making recipes. Like, we're making 4-packs, and this is what we need to sell it at. Shrink that down. Like, can't compromise the recipe, because then it's a different beer. And then we're talking, then it's a whole different thing.
Well, I think the fact that this beer has been successful kind of speaks to, in greater part, Luce Line's success as a brewery and the quality of beers that have been coming out of here. I noticed, I like to scroll the social medias when I'm when I'm swearing at the Wordle. I need to do it. Do you guys do the Wordle?
No, I don't.
Nobody?
I do.
Okay.
I do not.
What's your starting word?
I actually switch it up every time. I
Really?
usually do it when I'm watching TV at home. It's like the last thing I do before I go to bed, before we turn off the TV at night. And I always pick a 5-letter word that was just mentioned on television. Sounds silly,
No.
but if it's if there's some common letters in it, like I'm not going to pick like something that starts with a QU or has a bunch of Z's in it. But
Right.
if it's something that was said recently on TV, that's what I'm putting in.
Okay. I always go with diets
That's a good one.
because it's got, the T, the S, the D, couple vowels.
I have no idea how this game works.
Oh, I'm going to show you when we do the
You're going to be
break.
addicted to that.
And you're
by
going to be
next
like,
week.
also, some of my students turned me on with crosswordle.
Oh, I've never played that.
It is a crossword, but it's a wordle. So you have to move the letters It's like, I've never done cocaine, but I would imagine that it's that kind of a rush if you're really into word games. So something to try, crosswordle.com.
It's already got my heart racing. Just
I know,
thinking about
that's
it.
right. We haven't even, my mirror's over there. We haven't even started. So let's talk. My original point before I got, it's always Wordle and cocaine, Brent. It's always Wordle and cocaine that just gets me off track in the summertime.
Hell of a combo.
It's a hell of a combo. When I'm looking at social media, you all have been pretty active in brewing a lot of fun collabs lately. And as the craft beer universe is sometimes wont to do, it puts two people that like to spend time with each other in the same place. Brent, I ran into you at the industry night at the Dangerous Man new tap room a couple weeks ago, and you were so generous to give me a 4-pack of beer. And I had one of those cans, the window shopping, the other day. Holy cats. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Very, very good. And that was a collaboration with Forager, correct?
Correct.
So I know that you guys were also doing a collaboration brew with Haggard Barrel and Hollingbury hops for an event that we'll talk more about later. But when you're collaborating with the likes of Forager and Haggard Barrel, that's got to be really fun. What was the window shopping collab beer like? How did that come to be?
Well, that one was a long work in progress.
Yeah.
I delivered beer down to Jack's Bottle Shop, which is literally in mostly the same parking lot as Forager. So naturally, I stop in and have lunch and a beer and chat with those fine folks. And literally, it was like 2 years of just chatting with Paul, is one of the owners, brewers. We found out that we went to high school together.
Ah, nice.
He was a senior, I was a freshman, so like we didn't know each other, but we went to the same high school in Wayzata High School. And I mean, I've put the bug in his ear for a while, and finally he had some free time, and he goes, well, they're getting some upgrading some brewing equipment, so they had to be down for production for a little bit. So he's like, this works out perfect. If you guys can squeeze us in,
cool.
We'd love to make a beer with you. And Danny moved a bunch of stuff around to make that work.
Yeah, usually with our collabs, it's like we've got the room to pivot a little bit, not a lot. So I know Brent's looking at me. He's like, "You can pivot. You can get me more." But when we have,
I can also mute his headphones if you need to speak your truth here.
When we have something like that, we're usually pretty quick on fitting those guys in, whether it's them or even the Haggard Barrel collab was like, hey, in 3 weeks, you guys got a day available? Because we do. And they're like, absolutely. So, yeah. And usually when it's someone like Forager or Haggard Barrel, or I mean, honestly, anybody that we've done collabs with, it's usually breweries that we're all super excited about, or we go to, or we drink anyway on our own. So I don't think there's ever been a collab where anybody's been like, no, don't want to do it with them. So when Brent brought that up, it's like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We've got space. We'll make it work.
We are going to, just so everybody knows, I mean, Forager is known for their big beers.
Yeah.
We are going to go down there sometime this year to brew something big with them.
Yeah, I know that was some people's concern that we did not do a big stout with Forager while they were here, but it'll come.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, from what I understand, when you do one collab, if it goes really well, everybody's really engaged with it, and everybody has fun, there's more collabs to follow. And I think it's got to be nice. I would imagine from a brewing standpoint, you can always learn more from just chatting. I have to think that a lot of your time is pretty taken up. It's not like you have like a ton of time to go visit other breweries unless you're doing it, off the clock. When you get an opportunity like that, do you have things other than brewing the beer that you want to like when you were going to collaborate with Forager, did you have questions, or did they have questions for you about like, we do it this way, how do you do it here on this equipment? Like what what were some of those things that you learned, and what were some of the things that you shared with them during that process?
We have. It just so happens. Have we ever done a collab that's not been an IPA? Everything's basically been an IPA.
Yeah, it's all been IPAs, I think.
So we talk a lot about IPAs, and there's whether it's hazy or West Coast. We do West Coast as well. A lot of it is just like it's timing, it's water. I know everybody loves hops, so a lot of the stuff, especially whether it's West Coast or hazy, we talk about hop quantities, when things are getting added, amount of time spent on hops, things like that. And it's been kind of fun to see some beers that I've had from some other breweries that we've worked with that have been like, that tastes a lot like ours, or I can see taste some similarities. But then once we've kind of worked backwards and dissected, it's like, oh shoot, yay, we are doing something completely different. Like our hops, most of them, we don't do any mid-firm dry hops. Everything is a lot later in the game, but we've talked to a lot of breweries who are like, yeah, day 2, day 3, day 4, when beer's ripping, we're doing a huge dry hop edition, things like that.
That's got to be really fun.
Yeah, like honestly, I think that's half the fun is, going to your friend's house and seeing their cool, shiny new toys.
Yeah,
And all that kind of stuff. And again, bouncing ideas off each other. And like you said, hey, we do this thing this way. How do you guys do that thing? Or whatever. Like, oh, check out this new piece of equipment we just got. And all this. We're just there to like hang out with our friends, basically.
Yeah.
And then we just talk shop, and it's great.
Yeah.
Drink a beer or two.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah,
just one.
We actually, I just was thinking about it. We just brewed, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We were at Back Channel brewing a beer, and it's West Coast IPA with lager yeast, and it's something that I know a lot of brewers have done, and it's not that crazy, but it's something we've never really tried, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. So it was fun to kind of pick their brain on how we're going to ferment a West Coast IPA with lager yeast and temperature and timing and all that jazz. So that was fun. That beer's not quite out yet, but excited to try that when it's ready.
Yeah. And then when you do a collab, I know, like we already mentioned, Minnesota has some quirky beer laws, but you brew it here, it releases here. Do they get to take some back to put on tap there, or would you have to like go and brew it there?
We'd have to brew it there.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Legally for them to sell it.
Oh, sure.
Nobody's
Right.
gonna risk anything to do it illegally.
Yeah, right. No.
Yes, so whatever collab we brew at our place, it's technically just a Luce Lime beer, even though we always put the label of the other brewer we're on, or their logo on the label. So, but yeah, every beer, wherever it's brewed, that's whose beer it actually is. So unfortunately, we can't, unless we did a collab with Town Hall, then they could put it because they're a brew pub.
Oh, right, yeah.
But for production breweries, if it's not made there, you can't have it.
Yeah. And the window shopping, that was just like incredibly, really bright, juicy. What were the hops that went into that?
Those are just Citra and Nectaron.
Okay.
So, I mean, things we've used before. The only technical difference was it was Forager's hand-selected Citra.
Oh.
Whereas we just buy our hops from the spot market, again, because we are not big enough to contract anything and whatnot. So they have, specifically picked out lots of Citra that they use. So they brought their specific Citra up to us, and I think it's better than the Citra we get. But
yeah, no, they were both pretty good, but theirs was like, I don't know, theirs was just way more like as ripe as you can get without being overripe and super peach forward. So like, the peach is on its last legs, but still super good. Where ours is, we get good Citra, but it's, depending on when we buy it, it can be a different lot. So it's always some sort of peach and apricot flavor, but sometimes there can be some variation.
And Nectaron is a relatively new hop, as in the last couple of years. You say you've used that before. I really like it. Can you break down the aromas and kind of like the flavors of the Nectaron hop for our listeners?
Nectaron, it's a New Zealand variety. Again, it's only a few years old, but a lot of those cool New Zealand varieties are starting to become a little bit more accessible. It is super pineapple forward. There's little hints of grapefruit. And then I hate saying this, we do this in our beer club, but it's got that just like quintessential tropical flavor that you get from some Southern Hemisphere hops. So a little bit of passion fruit, but it's got some nice pineapple. And if you use a ton of it, you can get a little diesel from it. So it's the perfect hop for both hazy IPAs, but also super dank, bitter West Coast IPAs as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that beer was magnificent. Really floored me. And then you also did one with Haggard Barrel and Hollingberry for the upcoming beer event called Hoptacular, which is taking place on Saturday, July 18th. I've only met Carl from Haggard Barrel a handful of times, but he seems like he would be a fun guy to spend an afternoon with, drinking beer, and maybe doing other
why we
things.
did the collab with him, because he seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, I was at their anniversary party a couple months ago. They ran out of Underberg, which you would have thought there was some sort of nuclear reactor leak, but he sent somebody out and then replenished the supply. But they seem like they have a lot of fun in their teeny tiny cozy little tap room. Now, the beer that you brewed with them, I'm assuming was a hazy IPA. If you say brown ale, I'm going to do a cartwheel. Really?
No, it's West Coast. Double dry hopped West Coast.
Still IPA.
Yeah. All right.
Well, so I've had plenty of conversations with Carl at different fests and whatnot, and Ecstatic Static, one of our flagship West Coast IPAs. We try to pour that kind of as much as possible, just to keep trying to push that brand. But that is Carl's favorite beer that we make.
It's good.
Like leaps and bounds.
Is that the one with Idaho 7 in it?
No. Citra, Strata, Simcoe.
Okay. Do you have a beer?
Foggy Bottom, our core.
Oh, okay, that's right.
The
Okay.
beer we make basically every week has Idaho 7 and
Okay.
Mosaic. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, he was over the moon with that beer, so it felt like we'd have to make that style of beer with him when he came over here to make some beer with us last week.
And they'll be released at the Hoptacular, or was that also just a collab?
Yep, that was for Hoptacular. We
Okay.
brewed a beer. Last year we brewed a beer for the first time. Just us, not a collab, hazy IPA, and it's called Hoptacular. And assuming this event is successful again this year, and we keep doing it every year, we will brew a beer for every festival called Hoptacular, but the recipe will change. It will just most likely be some sort of hop-forward beer, and hopefully the plan is every year to collab with at least one brewery that's going to be a part of that year's event. So this year, Haggard Barrel, who's back again, just timing made sense.
Yeah, that's cool. So this will be the second Hoptacular, or how many years have you done the Hoptacular?
This is year 2.
Okay, year 2. And I went last year. It was super fun. It was a perfect day. It was sunny. I brought my bike. I did a little... I'd never biked on a gravel path before, so I'm like, I'll probably be able to go 20 miles. And like, my thighs started swearing at me at mile number 6, and I'm like, I better turn around or I'm going to die. So that was a fun afternoon. You know, when you exert yourself like crazy on a bike and there's beer at the end, that's always fun. Also, you guys need better signage about the exit for that thing, because I was like kind of cruising and like, hey, this looks familiar. Hey, that's the brewery. And I like tried to like do a, Han Solo Millennium Falcon maneuver, and I did it, and the bike just slid out from under me and my plant foot was there. And I was like, for a second, my crotch was like a Laffy Taffy, just barely able to retain properties of a solid. But I got back up, I didn't biff it, and I came in. I was like, I need a beer and I need a chair. That was a fun time. How did that festival come to be? I know Juno is just a great human being, very plugged in with all facets of craft beer. And I know that Hollingberry is a great hop supplier. Talk to me about how that event came to be and what people can look forward to on Saturday, July 18th here at Luce Line for the Hoptacular.
Well, I guess the Luce, no pun intended, not story, but how it kind of got started was our owner Tim had this idea to have some breweries out here, kind of like the original idea was kind of like a beer fest-esque type thing, and it morphed into what it is now with inviting a bunch of our friends we've brewed beer with and some of our favorite breweries to come pour some of their beer out of our tap trailer and just hang out and have a good time. And if people have questions about their beer, they're here to answer those questions and whatnot. And it's kind of just a gathering of some of the best breweries around and just having a good time. And
Yeah, I know, to add to what Brent said, I think one of the biggest things Tim wanted to do was he wanted to make this a really easygoing event, kind of a beer festival without, everybody's got to bring a jockey box, everybody's got to bring 4 options. You got to buy tickets in advance. We wanted it to be easy for the breweries in attendance. So pretty much the only stipulation was bring one single beer. A half barrel's worth of one brand. It doesn't matter what type of beer it is, even though the event's called Hoptacular and most of them are IPAs. But they can bring whatever they have that they're just super jazzed about at the time. We've got a big tap trailer that holds 12 draft lines right now, and whenever we send out invites, we tell the brewers, you don't need to bring a tent, you don't need to bring a jockey box. If you want to bring swag, you can, but it's not necessary, and we will pour all of the beer for you, so you don't actually have to work. And no pre-advanced tickets. We literally sell drink tickets day of, so you can come in, you can buy a half pour of one beer and go, or you can buy full pours of everything that's available. It's not, you don't have to pay $75 in advance. We're trying to make this as accessible and easygoing as possible.
I like that. And I'm sure the participating breweries really like that, because really, you just come, show up, you've got your beer, but you don't have to pour it. And then, you get to hang out. I'm looking at the list. Okay, here we go. Should have brought my reading glasses. So these are the confirmed breweries. We got Arbiter, Lupulin, Junkyard, Forager, Barrel Theory, Dangerous Man, Back Channel, Luce Line, of course, and Haggard Barrel. That's a fantastic lineup. And there's obviously Lupulin. I think of Lupulin IPAs. Back Channel, I think of IPAs. You guys, I think of IPAs. Haggard Barrel, I think of IPAs. But Dangerous Man. When I think of Dangerous Man, I think of chocolate milk stout and peanut butter porter. I think of Arbiter. I think of Ha Pills and West Coast. I guess that's an IPA. But there's a nice mix, and it's a fun day. Coming and hanging out at a brewery. I also appreciate just the relaxed atmosphere. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be last year.
Neither were we.
And I was like, okay, is it going to be are there going to be tons of lines? I don't like waiting in lines, but it was very casual. You just walk up, grab a beer, go sit down, chill. It was very fun. Will you have a food truck here?
yes, there'll be 2 food trucks. I believe it is Safe Side and Hana Bistro. And they should be on site for lunch and into dinner hour.
Sweet.
And then live music as well from Free Fallin'. That'll be more towards the evening.
Okay, cool. And what are there hours? Is it just all day, or are there specific hours?
I believe we are starting the beer for Hoptacular at 3. So the tap room will be open, and the tap room is open all day as well. So if you just want to come drink Loose Line beer, just drink Piedmont Pilsner all day, that's also an option. You do not have to be a part of Hoptacular. It's under a tent in the parking lot. So the tap room will be open at noon, but we will start serving Hoptacular beer at 3. And that will go until either we run out of beer or 10 o'clock, whichever happens first. And I know last year, I think we ran out of beer, but I was gone by the time that happened, so I don't remember when that was. But it won't run out before 7 or 8. So
For the bulk of the folks.
Yeah. So you don't have to be there right at 3, but you could be if you wanted to.
Awesome. Cool. All right, I'm looking at some empty glasses, and that's usually the sign to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the wonderful beers at Loose Line Brewing. You're listening to A One Pint Stand.
It started as a one-night stand. I had 2 pints for a lonely hand. Bounced back like a rubber band. For 3 pints. Drinking a fourth in a faraway land. But I couldn't make it as a single man. So I married me this beer right here. A one pint stand.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying a One Pint Stand. My aim is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A One Pint Stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. Now, if you're also into those things, you probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow A One Pint Stand on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Mastodon. I also started a TikTok account because I was tired of Charles calling me a boomer for not having one. I would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts to make it easier for other craft beer listeners to find us. If you want to be a supporter of the podcast with some of that extra change you find in your couch cushions, I have a Patreon. There are 3 different monthly levels of support, and they are priced at $1, $3, or $5 a month. If you pledge at the $3 or $5 monthly level, you get some pretty cool perks. So go to patreon.com and search A One Pint Stand to check it out. We're up to 29 supporters, and I'm just so excited for what that means for the show. If you like reading about craft beer, you can check out my written work on aonepintstand.com. I love to write, and that's where you'll find my written content covering both the local craft beer happenings as well as my craft beer travels. I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Now, I want to talk about this episode's sponsor, Arbeiter Brewing. They always have so many cool little events happening throughout the year, and July is no exception. Arbeiter has 2 big events coming in July, July 19th and July 25th. Now, make sure to pause the episode and go get your pen and pencil and calendar so you can write these dates down, folks. All right, you back? Okay, good. Now, on July 19th, Arbeiter will be hosting a family-friendly Korean community summer market, spotlighting local Korean adoptee and Korean American artists, makers, small businesses, and food vendors from noon to 4 p.m. On July 25th, they'll be hosting Lake Street Live, an all-day, family-friendly music fest block party complete with 8 bands, kids' activities, and food trucks. Now, this brings us to the beer. Arbeiter will have a brand new product they'll be testing out. Haetae, a brewed soju, which is a popular Korean spirit, but theirs will be brewed. It's usually drank in small quantity in a celebratory manner. Jeonbae. They also have Lawn Dorts, a Dortmunder-style export lager, and Pink Jazz, a jasmine tea IPA made with pink hops.
How about a beer?
Yeah, we're here. We jumped right in. Usually I say, "Hey, we're back for the second half," but we had words we needed to say. Now we're drinking. We just split a can of Low Beams, West Coast. It's a West Coast IPA, yes? Correctamundo. I had a history teacher we called High Beams, Mr. Tondrum, in high school because he kept his room at a balmy 48 degrees and was like nipping out like he was going to go just lay down to become a horseshoe thing. We're like, good God, the turkey's done. So Low Beams, this is nice. This is a good. Now, we were talking about it before, and Danny, you said you like this beer a lot better a day after it's canned.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I'm sure somebody who knows more than me can probably tell you what it is. But for some reason, with our West Coast IPAs, like the day we can them, we almost all take a 4-pack home. And for me, like they always taste good, but it's like this wasn't what was in the tank. And for whatever reason, 24 hours later, I don't know, things just kind of open up and breathe a little bit more. And for whatever reason, the next day after canning on our West Coast IPAs, they just seem way more bright and great. And this one is actually surprisingly drinking quite well. But like Ecstatic, which is our core West Coast, we package that pretty regularly, and I always take one home, and every time I drink it the night of, I'm like, oh, damn it, we screwed this batch up somehow. And then it's like, nope, try it again the next day. And it's like, oh, no, that's what it's supposed to be. We're there. So I'm not sure what it is. But, yeah, I like our West Coast IPAs a day or two after we make them.
Okay.
Just
Or
needs a little
package 'em.
seasoning in the can.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I don't know what Dane's putting in the can before it gets filled.
Wasn't me.
The Colonel's blend of 11 herbs and spices. I had this once. That extra crispy. How often do you debut a new IPA? It seems, and I don't know if this is real, my perception is that you do a lot. You have a lot of things coming out. What is that? Is that true, or is that just the voices in my head playing tricks on me?
I mean, we do put out each month. It's probably 2. I don't want to say new brands, but fresh brands or fresh beers. But usually 2 fresh brands every month, give or take. Static and Foggy are flake chips, so they're always around. So we're always canning those. But like new brand new recipe stuff like the Sacred Geometry.
Yeah, this is delicious, by the way. This is fantastic. If people haven't tried Sacred Geometry, which is different than 10th grade geometry, which absolutely sucked. I think I've hit on some high school trauma here. I mentioned Mr. Tondrum, and I'm going to mention Mr. Durrigan, my geometry teacher. There was he had a very dry sense of humor, and there was a kid named Matt Steinhoff who did not attend regularly, and Mr. Durrigan had the knack of calling on the one kid who had no clue what was going on in that moment. And so he calls on Matt. He's like, Matt, what's the answer? And he pointed at the board. Well, the question was like, what shape is this? And it was a parallelogram. And Grayson Brewstall, the brother of Glenn Brewstall, who's the owner of the Lakeville Brewing, Inver Grove Brewing Brew Pub contingent, Grayson whispers to Matt, just say add 3 to both sides. And so Matt said, add 3 to both sides. And everybody started laughing. And he's like, nope, not really. And then Matt was like, well, like I fucking know. And he flipped his desk and walked out. We never saw him again. That was geometry. So this geometric experience is a lot better. Now, Dane, this is your recipe.
Oh, yes, sir.
Talk to me about this beer, because I really like it.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Anywho, Danny is our head brewer. He's the one who comes up with the majority of our recipes, and like he said, I'm just the one who makes them most of the time.
He's so much more than that.
Yeah, sure.
Don't sell yourself short.
We've had conversations before, but one of the things about you that comes across loud and clear is you are very modest and very humble. Like,
I'm just some dude. But anyway, I get my own recipe about once a year. So so this was my shot. So this is Sacred Geometry. It is approximately 6.5% hazy IPA with Dulcita, formerly HBC 1019, as well as Vera and Laurel hops. And honestly, I kind of swung for the fences with this one because Danny and myself have never even used Laurel or Vera. And we have only used Dulcita twice in our beer, White Van Superman. So this is about as, I guess, quote unquote, as experimental as we get here. Again, Danny and I barely have any reference to these hops that we're doing. But I, try to do my due diligence and, check all their oil contents and blah, blah, blah and whatnot to see if they would work well together. So yeah, we just kind of threw some stuff together. I guess, one difference between our regular IPAs, we took the wheat out of this one. I am actually allergic to wheat. I'm not celiac or anything. I just kind of get a little stuffy nose if I drink too many IPAs. So I wanted this one to kind of selfishly be catered towards me. So
as you should.
Exactly. So this one does not have any wheat in it, but that just kind of lends the beer to be very clean and kind of creamy as well. And I think it just turned out really well. It's just a big old tropical fruit bomb with some pretty cool kind of like floral, slightly dank undernotes to it.
Yeah, that finish is, to me, perfect. You get that nice little hit of bitterness at the end.
A little bit.
And it just makes you want to keep going back to it.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I really like how it turned out.
This one is taproom only.
Okay. So get your butts in here, folks.
Correct. And small batch. So if you want it, come and get it.
Hopefully it should be gone in a couple weeks if I
Correct.
did my job right.
Yeah.
But it's already got good reviews, so more than likely it'll be in a can at some point.
Well, and that kind of adds to kind of like the direction the conversation was going earlier is like, you hit on a recipe like this. If it's taproom only, you get good feedback, then that enters the rotation. But it seems like you do a nice job of keeping that excitement going with the beers that you're putting out into the market and the beers that you're putting on tap here at the tap room. Is that a goal, or is it just kind of like the wonderful byproduct of really good creativity in the brew house and just that knowledge of wanting to explore different hops and maybe try different hop combinations? Because clearly you're both very good at it.
Yeah, I think it just all goes back to just like, I mean, the roots of craft beer in and of itself. I mean, do you want to eat the same meal every single day? Do you want to drink the same beer every single day?
If it's burrito tacos,
Sure.
yes.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Variety is the spice of life.
It's the same thing. Like, I don't want to make the same thing
Right.
every single time because, then it's, less experimental. It's less fun.
Right.
It's more methodical. It's more technical than anything, which is great. But at the same time, like, you can kind of get boxed in if, hey, we're making our 17th batch of Foggy this month, and it's like, all right, cool, here's another one. So things like this honestly get me really excited because it's like, hey, we're doing something brand new. I've never even smelled this hop before. I want to open a bag right now. So I think it just all comes down to craft beer. Like, again, obviously we need to give the customers what they want to drink, but at the same time, we as brewers, we need room to run, and we need to find things out like that. It's all about experimentation. If you have never used an ingredient, how are you going to know what that is?
Yeah.
We need to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been given a pretty good amount of leeway and freedom to try new things, and we've got depending on the day, we've got anywhere between 13 to 16 beers on tap, and we always have to have at least there's a handful that we always have to have on tap because that's what our locals want, and that's awesome. And the more something's on, the more we can really dial it in. So that's fun. But yeah, there's so many new things coming out that's kind of like, well, I want to try that. I don't just want to watch all the other people play with the new toys. Like there's a new hot product, what seems like every month that people are getting excited about. And we've recently brought a few of those in, and we're super excited to see how those come out. And then I'm sure in 2 months there'll be some new hot product that we want to try, and we'll find a way to work that into the rotation.
At what point in the summer, I mean, we mentioned it, we're recording this on, what is it, June 23rd, I think.
Yes.
Once the school year's over, I stop keeping track of the days. Sometimes I walk out of the house without pants on, but I'm in summer mode. So I know seasonal creep is a thing. I know you have a very delicious Oktoberfest beer. At what point? Because as brewers, you have to be almost ahead, like be playing a season ahead. Like you're playing chess. Well, rubes like me are playing checkers and drinking the summer beers. You're already thinking about when does that transition kind of happen to you look at the brand calendar. You're like, all right, we got to start. Is there Oktoberfest already in the tank?
Last week.
Yeah.
See, there we go.
I don't. If for those of you who listened to this whole thing so far and are still with us, like I mentioned earlier, we are like in my brain, I'm already past Squawk Extra.
Yeah.
And again, it's not even July, but I know it's still going to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to be at least 2 months out. I mean, our Oktoberfest is the biggest seasonal, and that one unfortunately, too, we also have to release the first week of August. Otherwise, you're late to the game.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, we're always like, in my mind, we're a season ahead. So once Labor Day hits, I'm like, all right, what are we doing for Thanksgiving? What's our winter seasonal? We have to just plan that stuff out. Basically, we're a season ahead.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We have a loose skeleton for the year.
No pun intended.
And then we kind of plug and play. Like the Forager thing obviously was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Things pop up. I'm like, these guys are more than capable of moving stuff around to make it work. And the seasons, we do a lot of seasonal stuff. We don't can a ton of it for market. Most of it is taproom only.
Yeah.
But like Oktoberfest is huge. Guac has been done amazing so far. We've already said that. But like we don't dive headfirst into like every seasonal. Like we don't do an Irish Red or anything for St. Patrick's Day or stuff like that.
That being said, this will be the first year that we are diving a little bit more into the holiday season. November and December, we'll have a few canned releases that fit that time of year, which we haven't done in the past. So those we've already loosely got on the calendar. And again, with those kind of beers, same with Oktoberfest, is they can come out too early, but they have to be gone by a certain point. So we have to make sure that we're getting them out as early as possible without, literally when Halloween's over, it's basically Christmas time in retail. And then anything that's even remotely Christmas related has to be gone by January 1st. So that's something we're figuring out this year.
Which is part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Challenge.
I have to imagine, yeah. I mean, I think about, Gales of November. That's such a great beer.
Yes.
Now, a question, that comes out, that's a Black Friday release or November-ish release.
It has been.
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
It might
Did
be again,
somebody
too.
forget to tighten a screw? And now it's like, well, it's hey, happy Arbor Day. We're doing Gales of November. It's a cold weather. Now you do a regular version of that and a barrel-aged version of that, no?
Yeah, again, we have, yes. No, and we might still. We have in the past, and we plan to again. We just somehow the anniversary of Loose Line starting is the week before Black Friday.
Right.
So the last year, we packed in a ton of releases, and that one unfortunately fell by the wayside. We had collabs, we had triple IPAs, we had our winter solstice moved up a couple weeks this year, which was great. And these are all beers that we love, and we did a collab with Junkyard that was great last year, and we'll do another collab with somebody else this November. But we for better or worse pack in a lot of beer releases the last 2 weeks in November, and Gales in November may or may not be this year, but it will be again at some point.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to the barley wine lovers.
That's okay. I'll have to break that news to Andy the City Elf gently because that guy loves barley wines.
I'm sure we have a bottle in the back we can just give him.
Okay.
There's literally dozens of people who love barley wine, so we'll find a way for
literally
them.
dozens. Did you hear that?
Myself included.
Yeah, I love a good barley wine. Yeah, that's very exciting. It's an exciting time to be here now. We've talked about some really great collabs that you've done. Is there a brewery that you haven't done a collab with, or something like I bet if we brewed this style with this group, it would be fantastic. Because now's your chance to put that out. Let's manifest this together as a group. And the 12 people that listen to this show might tell somebody who knows somebody else at this particular brewery.
Is this like a all-time like
Right, yeah. Is this
wish
a
list
wish
or-
list, or is it just like
dream
Minnesota
big.
breweries?
I always
like one of
say
each.
shoot for the stars because if you miss, you still land on a cloud.
I think it'd be really awesome to go out to California and do a West Coast IPA with somebody.
Yeah, does anybody from Russian River listen to this podcast?
North Park, you out there?
Vinny Colurzo, are you closed circuit to? So we got the regional, maybe in Minnesota, because I'm sure Vinny's listening and he'll get back to you.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
4 to 6 business days. But
It's since we do so many IPAs, it'd be fun to do something different with another brewery. And obviously, I think 2 that come to mind that seem to be doing fun stuff that aren't doing IPAs, or at least, I don't think they're doing it at all. Pen Name, obviously, in St. Paul's been doing some cool stuff, and I'm a big Saison fan, and I used to brew a lot of Saisons before this. I love that style, and then their lagers are great as well. And then Nico at Double Elbow is great too, because again, lagers, and it's fun to see somebody who's just like, it's not going to be a big project, but I'm just going to focus on doing some really cool things, and going to get enough people to like it to buy it and do it again. So those are 2 that would be pretty cool.
I'm glad you mentioned Double Elbow. That's a really fun brand. It's one of those brands that anytime I see that tap handle, I'm getting that. I don't care what else is on the menu. I just want that, whatever that is. He just did a collab with Matt Waddell. Pen Name. Nico.
Oh,
did.
yeah.
So
I did see that on the Instagram.
I don't know when it's coming out, but that should be good.
But I'm sure we'll all try it.
Yeah, I go to Wandering Leaf a lot. It's pretty close to where I live.
Heck yeah.
Good people there, and that Pen Name, the Hana beer, the lager, just everything that Saison. It's all really wonderful. It's fun to have that close, that level of artistry. It's really, I don't know why more people aren't talking about that, but that's a really special thing that Matt is doing. As well as, the Double Elbow. I did a podcast last summer with Nico and Steve down at Little Thistle, but just hearing about how the Double Elbow concept came to be is really fun. If you had the ability to create just an offshoot brand of just, I just want to be creative, esoteric, and just wild, what would that look like for you?
For me, it would just be 100% Saison. Some of it would be just clean single yeast strain. Some of it would be mixed fermentation, barrel aged stuff. Because that's what I love, and that's what got me into craft beer, and that's what I did before this. It's a different landscape right now, and there are ways to do that and make that kind of beer sell. And maybe one day that'll happen. Who knows? But that would be the thing that I love to focus on, and I think with some of those breweries like Pen Name and Double Elbow, obviously they have things that they have to focus on, and like they're running a business, and I know they either are brewing for someone else or have another full-time job. So like they do have to pay attention, but when you're singularly focused on something like that, you can do some really cool things that, not that we couldn't do that here, but again, we are a different business model than that.
Right.
So to be able to focus so singularly on something cool like that is always fun. So yeah, Saison, and more people should drink Saison again. Maybe we'll come full circle at some point on that. Who knows?
How about you, Dane?
I would just do anything that is hop forward, whether that be West Coast, hazy, pale ales, like the West Coast Pilsners, anything. I love how expressive hops can be, and I love how they can either be the complete focus of a beer or in the background and you don't even notice them. But they still serve a purpose. Like they are there for a reason. So yeah, it would be basically something, 17 different types of IPAs, whether it be West Coast, hazy, a bunch of just hoppy lagers, something like that. But it's just glorifying the hops and showcasing hops and what they can do and what they can bring to a beer.
Yeah. Now you said hoppy lager. As I was looking at the menu out there, I landed on what is the name of the geometry?
Sacred
Geometry. But I saw you have a West Coast Pilsner on there. That's a style that's really, I tend to gravitate towards. I'd like to see more of those out in the wild. I think it's a good style. Now, the other thing coming up that we maybe should talk about is and maybe you all have probably been up there before, but this summer is going to be my first rare beer picnic up in Moorhead, Minnesota. You guys are Luce line
be
is on the dance card. Do you know what you're bringing up yet? Have you talked about that?
Danny told me a couple weeks ago, and my brain is mush.
So we will be bringing. We'll be bringing Hoptacular because Rare Beer Picnic is a week before Hoptacular, so we'll have kegs of Hoptacular ready. So I'm sure Brent will bring a keg of that as a preview. I think Money Trees double hazy IPA. I think that's going to be the newest or the most recently packaged hazy IPA. I think we'll have a smoothie of some sort. I think.
And there will be a 6-barrel of something dark we have not decided on yet.
Okay, all right, that's interesting.
Need to pull it out of the cellar and see where we're at.
Yeah, there's a corner of the cooler that's got some fun stuff, but I'm not totally sure what it is. And we'll
We'll
go
be
through
a
that
fun
before.
time.
That makes it fun. Just
Yeah,
go
that's
grab
really
something.
cool.
Oh, what's this?
Now,
What
do
is
you
that here?
Danny, do you guys like going to beer festivals like that, or no?
Like that one, yes. So actually, the whole reason we are even up there and we have done collabs with Junkyard, excuse me, is my cousin is the sales guy up there.
Oh, okay.
And I actually didn't know this until probably almost 2 years ago or something like that. So technically he's like my second cousin or whatever, but our fathers are cousins.
Okay.
And our fathers were talking one time and be like, oh, my son works at a brewery. Oh, my son works at a brewery too. That type of situation.
Sure.
So I had met this guy one time when I was younger, playing hockey, tournament up in Fargo or whatever. And then I get a random text out of the blue, be like, hey, this is your cousin. I work at Junkyard. Our dads were talking and whatnot. So we ended up linking up, having some beers and talking and whatnot. And then decided to do some collabs. So we went up there, they came down here first. We did a collab with them. And then we went up there a few months ago and did a collab with them. So it's just kind of fun to, I guess, kind of work with family. And we're doing the same thing and collabing. And so it's been really fun to kind of, again, make new friends, reconnect with old family, and make some cool shit, honestly.
Yeah.
And aside from Rare Beer Picnic, we hired Brent so we don't have to do beer festivals.
That's very true, yes.
There it is.
Just
There
kidding.
it is.
No, beer fests are fun, but the ones like Rare Beer Picnic are cool because it's a good time. It's invite only. They do a good job of making sure the brewers are taken care of. It's a nice, easy event.
Right. It doesn't feel like work comparatively to other brewery events.
And there are other great festivals. Just, I don't know. We've done a lot of them in the past. I try not to do too many of them anymore.
Exactly. I put in my
Speaking
time.
of Pride's this Friday, we'll be pouring.
Brent will be there.
I will be there. I'll be pouring another one of Dane's creations. It's
the
called
seltzer?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
What is
Best
it?
seltzer we've ever made.
This is the best seltzer we ever made.
Your favorite seltzer to make, I heard.
I enjoyed it, honestly. This was something very different than we've ever done. I know probably a lot of brewers, couldn't care one way or the other about a seltzer. But I used to be a bartender back in college, and something I used to make was a cocktail with watermelon, pucker, cucumber vodka, and then press, so soda and 7.
Oh, yeah.
So I honestly brought this up to Danny probably 2 or 3 years ago, and we just haven't had time to fit it in, or the logistics of it all or whatever. But I knew that when I was making that cocktail, that it was just a summer crusher. We finally got the time, so we pureed up 160 cucumbers. We had 10 gallons of watermelon juice.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
It was a lot.
We're gonna
it
buy.
took us half of it.
We'll buy cucumber concentrate.
Yes, yeah, maybe.
There's stacks of cucumbers in the
there's so many
cooler,
cucumbers.
and I was like, "What is going on?
so
What are we
many
doing with this?"
So yeah, blended up 160 cucumbers, threw that into seltzer base with the watermelon, some lemon and lime. But yeah, so it's all based on a cocktail that I used to make 10, 12 years ago,
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
That sounds
Back in
refreshing.
college.
It's delicious.
It is.
It's
What's it called?
It is called Emerald Flow. And that's because my buddy, he helped come up with the cocktail. He was one of those dudes who had super long hair, so he had like the hockey flow.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So we called him Robbie Flow.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make an homage to my friend who helped me make that cocktail. We served so many of those cocktails at that college bar. So yeah, that is named after him.
Okay.
Basically.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was really fun. Like that's the stuff I really enjoy, where I can, implement my old life experiences and actually put in the work instead of we're just pouring some juice into the thing and here's the drink.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I literally blended up 160 cucumbers. And we did
That's
all,
commitment.
We did all of it, man. Like that.
Peeled cucumbers.
Yes,
They
yeah,
were
it
peeled
was- it
first.
was
Don't forget
not a
that.
quick process. by
Oh,
any means.
God, you had to peel them too?
Yeah,
Yikes.
But
I had a
that's
coworker.
the best.
I had a coworker once. This was very jarring. He was big into health, so like had a lot of vegetables, and he'd always bring a cucumber to lunch. He wouldn't slice it. He was just
You ate it like a banana?
just whip it out. No, he's like a
Like a carrot, like
a
rabbit with
cooked
a
up
carrot.
wood chipper, and it was very the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck what are you doing? Why? There's other people in the room. That is reserved for the privacy of your own home. I'm not going to cucumber shame anybody, but if you are in mixed company, you need to slice your vegetables.
I think that's fair, unless it's a pickle.
Yeah. Pickle, that's a different story. Well, then we got into a debate because that's what he said. Would you be as weirded out if this was a pickle? I'm like, first of all, that's a very large cucumber. If you came in with a showstopper of a pickle like that, I might still have some questions. But yes, there's a more level of acceptance that increases. But I mean, like, my God, it was like that scene in Fargo when the guy's putting his leg in the wood chipper. It just like disappeared. I'm like, what are you, crazy?
I like to think we'd be open about that, but to a lot of things. But yeah, that's a weird one. Anybody here did that, and probably give them a weird look.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Now, Brent, we were talking about dream collaborations with the brewers. Do you have a color you'd like to paint your windowless van that you like, rather than, you could be like the Brent and the Technicolor delivery van driving around town? Is that something you've ever thought of?
Nope. That's a new one. I guess, well, if we're going like regional, there's a couple Chicago-based breweries that do a lot of things that, like Danny talked about, some lager stuff and also some barrel-aged dark beers.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun to do something with like Half Acre.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet. Or Rev.
Yeah, Revolution. Their barrel-aged stuff. Oh, my God.
Woof.
Just delicious.
But locally, like Danny said, Double Elbow or Pen Name. Like, if you'd have told me 4 years ago that I'd be jazzed up about some nice, light, crispy, delicious lagers, I'd probably kick my own ass back then. But
Yeah.
those beers that those two put out
Yeah.
are incredible. Like,
Really great.
no offense to anybody else, but like that's their like baby passion
Mhm.
project that they
Yeah.
get to dial in, no matter how long it takes. Like that's what it feels like anyway.
Right.
I'm sure there's timelines for all that, but that would probably be also one of my local places that would be fun to make some beer with,
Yeah.
outside of the hazy behemoths. But
The Hazy Behemoths. That'd be a good name for a beer.
There we
Hazy
go.
Behemoth.
Register it
down.
now.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for chatting. I always love coming up here, and the beers are always fantastic, but the company is even better. So thank you so much for having me. This has been another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand up here at Luce Brewing in Plymouth. Let's get a cheers. Kaboom! The team at Luce Brewing continues to impress me with their beers. The Hoptacular event is a blast, and I really hope to see you there. I also think that the Guac is Extra Mexican Lager should definitely be in your summer beer rotation because it is phenomenal. I really appreciate any time I can sit down and talk beer with Brent, Danny, and Dane, and this was no exception. Now, I want to give a special thank you to Brad Ashton, Jason Berg, Marcus Dodson, Chuck Dorsey, Vicky Epper, Daniel Fisher, Todd Fitzloff, Dave Giefer, Matt Holton, Robin Irwin, Brian Ketchell, Sarah Cry, Dave Long, Ben Michaels, Brent Newman, Bree Smith, Jesse Storms, Cal Vandehoof, and Brian Wu for being Cake Stander level supporters of the One Pint Stand Patreon. You've all shown incredible generosity, and I am grateful for it. Cheers to you all. Now, if you happen to be a Pint Hoister or a Keg Stander level supporter of the Patreon, I hope you enjoyed hearing some of the really interesting finer points and challenges about what happens when a brewery decides to go forward with putting out a 12-pack. That's not very common, and there's only a handful of craft breweries in Minnesota that are doing that to kind of compete with some of the bigger breweries. So I hope you found that interesting. I sure did. I also want to thank the band Quirky for creating a nice little jingle for the podcast. I just love how it turned out, and it adds such a great touch to the show. Thank you so much. Before signing off, I want to give a huge thanks again to the sponsor for this episode, Arbeiter Brewing Company. Gold medal award-winning lagers, a great environment, great people. Check them out at Arbeiter Brewing on social channels and on Minnehaha Avenue in South Minneapolis. With that, this has been another episode of a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers. So let's talk. My original point before I got, it's always Wordle and cocaine, Brent. It's always Wordle and cocaine that just gets me off track in the summertime.
Hell of a combo.
It's a hell of a combo.